A lot of zombie games have come and gone over the years, but there is one that refuses to disappear. Left 4 Dead 2, a co-op zombie game from 2009 that still pulls in over 20,000 players at any given time. Many games try to replace it over its 16 years of existing, but all of them have failed. So what is it so special about Left 4 Dead 2 that keeps people coming back while so many newer games fade away? And to answer that, of course, we have to start with Left 4 Dead 2's gameplay is really simple. You and 3 other players start a campaign and at least one of you has to make it to the safe room. That simplicity is exactly what makes it so special. There is no grinding, no weapon upgrades and no perks, just 4 survivors and whatever you find on the ground. Saying it like that makes it sound boring or repetitive, but it really isn't. Because all it takes is a team spreading out a little too much and suddenly a horde shows up. When that happens, things get overwhelming fast, especially if you don't have the right weapons or don't know how to use them well. Once a zombie starts hitting you lose a lot of speed and it allows for others to catch up. If it were just normal zombies the game would be tense but manageable. But you need to have something more, and that something more is the special infected. These are stronger mutated versions of the common infected, each designed to punish mistakes. Most of them can be handled with quick reflexes other than the tank or the witch. The tank isn't hard to miss. When you see your screen shaking and hear a loud rumbling, prepare yourself for a hard fight. But sometimes there won't be just one, so just accept your fate if you see more of them coming. But the witch is different, she can be a nightmare to deal with if you don't know how to take her down the proper way. Simple gameplay can be fun for a while, but it would get boring fast if the guns didn't feel good to shoot. Thankfully in Left 4 Dead 2 the weapons feel great without overwhelming you with stats or upgrades. Shotguns are heavy and brutal, rifles are reliable at range, and automatics let you mow to hordes when things get desperate. A big part of this is the sound design. Every shot sounds loud and powerful. You just pick up a gun and make it work. Sometimes you get your favorite weapon, other times you have to survive with whatever is nearby, which only adds to the tension. The melee is just as satisfying whether you are using a katana or chainsaw, but there is also something that contributes to the weapons feeling satisfying to use, and that is
Throwing a pipe bomb!
For a game that came out in 2009, the system was way ahead of its time. In Left 4 Dead 2 zombies don't just fall over and disappear, they react to every hit in a way that feels physical and believable. Depending on the force, angle and type of weapon you are using, they might stumble forward, drop to their knees, get knocked sideways or get launched backward entirely. It feels like the enemies have real weight and that your shots actually matter. The damage modeling is surprisingly detailed. You can blow off arms, legs or heads, and in some cases even expose bones and organs. There isn't an infinite damage system, but because of the physics and animations working together, the result almost never looks the same twice. And explosives take this to another level. When a pipe bomb goes off in the middle of horde, bodies and body parts get thrown across the area in a way that feels violent and brutal, but also satisfying. Now let's talk about who will be helping you to kill those zombies.
All this running we've been doing? I bet I lost, what, 5 pounds?
Well, anybody who survives this shit is gonna be in great shape.
In Left 4 Dead 2, the survivors aren't soldiers or superheroes, they are regular people who happen to be at the same place at the worst possible time. You can choose between Coach, the optimistic high school football coach, Nick, the cynical shady businessman, Ellis, the mechanic with endless stories about his friend Keith, and Rochelle, the grounded news producer. And thanks to the DLCs we even get the original crew, Bill, Francis, Louis and Zoe from Left 4 Dead 1. Through a dynamic dialogue system they react to everything in real time, joking, arguing and mourning each other. But I can't ignore how stupid the survivor AI can be. While the game is built on teamwork, the bots often miss the memo. If Jockey jumps on you, they'll frequently just run alongside you instead of knocking him off. Most of the time when Smoker is pulling you, they'll just stand there and look for some time and then shoot. The story of Left 4 Dead 2 is surprisingly deep yet incredibly easy to overlook because it refuses to rely on cutscenes, instead the environment tells the story. As you move through the world you see a civilization that suddenly stopped not too long ago. You'll stumble into kitchens where the fridge door still stands open and the lights are still flickering, or find hallways completely blocked off by furniture, desperate failed barricades where families try to hold back the inevitable. The true weight of the world is found in its smallest details, an abandoned meal left cold on a table, or frantic scribbles carving the safe from walls. These rooms aren't just checkpoints, they are a collective diary left by those who came before. You'll find this history scrolled everywhere, on city walls, hidden on rooftops or on road signs. These markings are archive of survival, urgent warning to others, memorials for the fallen, cynical jokes and bitter complaints about the military's failure. It is such a layer of storytelling that is easily missed when playing the game, but if you stop to read them you begin to piece together a fascinating narrative. Seeing the stranger's last thoughts or final wishes etched into concrete makes the world feel lived in, a reminder that while you aren't the first to pass through, you may be the last. The AI director is the silent engine behind the game, constantly monitoring your team's health, movement speed and how well you're sticking together. It isn't just a random generator, it's a system that decides exactly what happens next based on your performance. If your team is struggling and limping toward the finish, the director will show mercy by thinning out the hordes or dropping an extra medkit. But if you're breezing through the level without taking a scratch, it will push back with relentless special infected and zero mercy. The real secret is the way the game handles pacing. It's great at building up that creepy quiet tension right before everything goes wrong when you least expect it. It knows exactly when to give you a break and exactly when to make you panic. The director can even reshape the map itself. It can shift the location of alarmed cars and change where items spawn. This means you can never truly rely on your memory. You have to adapt to the world as it changes around you. Because the game reacts to you rather than following a script, no two runs ever feel the same. It's the reason the game stays fresh after all these years. While the campaign is the core experience of Left 4 Dead 2, it's only the beginning. The game stays fresh because of its variety, starting with the versus mode. This is arguably the reason the game remains so high on Steam charts. It allows you to play as a special infected, transforming a co-op survival into highly competitive PvP. For those seeking a true challenge, there is realism. This mode strips away the visual cues, such as the glowing outlines around your teammates or weapons. If you get separated or pinned in another room, your team can't see you through the walls, making the experience feel much more like a horror game. There is also other game modes that mix the previous ones, such as realism versus and versus survival. Even after you've mastered every official campaign, you'll realize there is still so much more to do, and that's all thanks to the Steam Workshop. Over the last 16 years, the community has built a massive library of thousands of custom maps, mutations and challenges that completely transform the game. A prime example is the Nightmare mod collection. It pushes the difficulty to a brutal new level and brings back that gritty horror atmosphere that series was originally known for. That mod alone gave me the reason to put another 50 plus hours into the game. The variety is endless. You can mod the game to include characters from your favorite movies and cartoons or bring in weapons from entirely different games. The mods are even more fun when you play them with friends. And that brings me to co-op is what Left 4 Dead 2 is best known for, and there is reason people still talk about it. The entire game is built around 4 players relying on each other, not just shooting zombies side by side, but if one person decides to do something different, the whole team can go down. I know I've talked about the simplicity of the game already, but this is where it really matters. In most of newer co-op games, players are still focused on their own individual stats, chasing kills, grinding for XP or finishing personal quests. But in Left 4 Dead 2 there is none of that. There are no levels to gain and no XP to farm. Your only goal is to get your team to the safe room. This lack of distractions changes the way you play. You don't care who got the most kills, you care that your teammate is pinned by a hunter and needs help. You aren't worried about the loot, you are worried about who has the last medkit. Left 4 Dead 2 isn't a perfect game by any means, whether it's the mindless boss that make you want to jump through a screen, repetitive gameplay or the lack of goals to grind for. There are definitely times when it shows its age, but still Left 4 Dead 2 is for me and I think many others the best zombie game out there. Thanks for watching and thanks for the support on my last video, it means a lot. If you want to see more from me, consider liking the video or subscribing to the channel.